Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball Podcast, episode 66. I'm Adam Miller, and I'm here with Jaren Will each and every week, and we are going to be bringing you the news and notes on all 11 Division I schools in the state of Indiana because 49 states.
It's just basketball. We're coming up on a pretty important milestone, Adam.
Well, this is
in 3 weeks.
Well, this is a Star Wars one for the Star Wars fans. Order 66. It's a good one. But I got a question for you, Jaren. How are your feet?
How are my feet?
Yeah, how are your feet doing?
We're making do. We're making do. So for context, Adam and I last week went in.
This week.
Yeah, I guess this
was just like
week.
3 days ago.
Yeah, 3 days ago, Thursday. And we're recording on Sunday. Went and played basketball, and I had to get new basketball shoes. I haven't had a pair in years, and they aren't broken in. So as most hoopers have experienced, you kind of got to break in basketball shoes.
You got to break in like any
athletic shoe. Yeah. So I'm playing, and about halfway through the first game to 12 that we played, my feet were hurting.
Yeah.
Hurting.
It's in an elementary gym, mind you, but it is full court. I mean, it's nonstop, back and forth, up and down basketball.
Yeah.
And like when we've been playing a little bit of basketball, but it's been like some 21 because we don't have full numbers. We've been playing like 21 and like shooting around and stuff, but you haven't had your basketball shoes for that. So you could play that without basketball shoes, fine.
Yeah. And I after about, I think I only made it 3 games. One because I'm out of shape, and playing intense, fast paced, up and down the court was not ideal for me and my, the current stamina that I have.
Yeah.
And also my feet were killing
literally
me.
Bleeding.
Took off my shoes after I was done, and I was wearing white socks, and there was a little tiny blood spot on the socks, and I was like, oh shoot, this is not good. And I got home, and obviously had blisters on both my feet, and the same exact spot in both shoes.
Yep, like right on the was it right on the arch, like right on the edge of the arch or something?
Yeah, it's like right under the ball. It's like where the ball meets the arch.
Yep.
And I've been wearing little blistered bandages for the last few days, and
feeling good.
They're feeling all right. It's we worked out 2 days later, Saturday morning, and they were hurting then, for sure. But it was the first time I'd worn like a real shoe because
just around the house.
Friday I took it easy with shoe wise. So yeah, it was. They're getting better though.
Yeah, it's fun playing full court basketball. Is always, you never know what you're gonna get depending on the clientele, but it's always some good exercise. So
yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna get into the rankings.
Yeah,
they changed a little bit.
They did change, and we will talk about that after we talk about Crow's Nest Coffee Roasters. Remember, you can get 15% off every order using the promo code TSOB at checkout. A little behind the scenes, we're working on allowing this is all single purchase, right? So not subscription based. Crow's Nest Coffee does offer a subscription service. You can get, I think it's 1 bag a month, or maybe it's 2 bags a month, or 2 bags every week. I don't remember the exact. I'm plugging this awfully, but we're working on setting up a way to use this promo code for subscription, so you'd get a discounted subscription. That's in the works. We're thinking it's going to be a possibility.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Yeah, we're working behind the scenes to try to make that happen with Crow's Nest Coffee. But power rankings, this, I guess, the second most important part of this segment. Starting at 11 is IU Indy. They were 10th last week, so they did drop back 1 spot. At 10, we have got Southern Indiana, who was 8th. So they dropped 2 spots. At 9th, we've got Evansville, who moved up 2 spots. They're playing really good basketball right now, and had a close game against Indiana State.
Yes, they did.
This past week. At 8, we've got Ball State, who also moved up a spot. They got a huge win over Kent State to kick off MAC play. At 7, remaining the same, is Valpo. 6, we've got Indiana State, who again, played close against Evansville. 5, Purdue Fort Wayne. 4, Notre Dame. Both of those are the same as last week. At 3, I guess our second to last change.
Right. Yeah.
Change.
That
This
checks
is like
out.
change 2A, and then it'll be change 2B. We've got Butler at 3, who moved down 1 spot, and then Indiana moved up 1 spot to number 2. And at the top, remaining strong, is Purdue.
Purdue might. I mean, I was so confident that Purdue was going to run the table, but now like Indiana's shown some life, and they have the same Big Ten record. All comes down to what they do in their heads
Probably
to
their
heads. I think is what
Heads to heads.
head to head, heads to head. In their 2 games that they play against each other is kind of where I feel like that's going to be determined, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna bring up the same thing. But let's get into talking about our schools, and we'll start as always. Well, I can't say as always because that one time we didn't go in. But we go in power ranking order.
We went in power ranking order, and it was just a mess. I mean, like I threw
we
it on you. We didn't reorganize
we didn't prep
anything.
our sheet to be able to do that.
Yeah, so we were scrolling back and forth, but then you had to like check. You had to scroll back up to the top of the doc to find the power rankings, find that team, then scroll to that team.
Yeah, it was not fun. But as we typically do, alphabetical order. So that means Ball State did move up a pretty decent chunk in the Torvik ranking. They are 221, previously 248. That came largely in part to their huge win at Kent State. But they did go 2-0 this week, bringing their overall record to 7-6. And like we mentioned, they are 1-0 in MAC play. They got their first win of the week over, is it NAIA Anderson? Is Anderson NAIA or are they D3?
D3, I think.
Okay.
I think they're D3.
Okay. A non-D1 Anderson. They won 89-76. It was a scary one for a minute there. We'll talk about that here.
For a couple minutes.
Yeah, for a couple minutes. It was kind of scary, but they also got a win at Kent State, 75-67. That is a homecoming game for kind of a homecoming game for Jeremiah Hernandez. But again, we will talk about that. So let's start with talking about Anderson.
Well, I mean, you just have 2 extremely different games in like they're playing a Division III opponent and they're down 7 pretty much going into halftime, and then Peyton Sparks chucks up a 3 as time is running out at the end of the first half. So it makes it look like they're only. I mean, I guess they literally were. So they were literally down 4 at half.
Things you don't hear very often: Peyton Sparks and shooting.
Peyton Sparks makes a 3 at the buzzer to put them down 4 to a Division III opponent. Like a lot of things that I never thought we would ever say on this podcast together.
Yeah, in like a single sentence.
Yeah. But I mean, after this one, I was like, I'm not very hopeful. Like it did not inspire hope in me. I mean, people were great. Like Fat Hill was good. He's been good. Peyton Sparks has been, pretty good. They've had good pieces. But after that, you're like, we're cooked. Like after that, you have to go to Kent State.
Yeah, your starting conference play after a game like that is
not what you want.
They won by 13.
Yeah,
but probably should have won by
30 at least.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but then the next game way better going on. We had Jerry Hernandez on the show.
Over
and
the summer.
Yeah, that's where he started his career. He started at Kent State, transferred to Southern Indiana, did 2 years at Southern Indiana. Now he's doing his 5th year at Ball State. And this was the big one for him. Like when we talked about what games he was looking forward to, he was like, I don't even think he said it. I think it was just like, wait, no, it's gonna be Kent State. And he's like, yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
First conference game was at Kent State, which is not an easy place to play.
No. I mean, Kent, they have a top 100 defense. But Ball State went in. They had their 4th best offensive rating of the season against a top 100 defense.
And a top 150 team overall.
Yeah,
Ball State was 100 spots below them going into the game.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of positive signs that we saw there. They just, MAC plays here, and they turned up the dial, hopefully, for the remaining season.
Yeah, so good to see that. I like that they opened it up with a win. Everything I thought at the end of the Anderson game, I have completely forgotten about, and I'm like, this team's gonna absolutely cook. So what? They're 7-6.
Yep.
Just got to go 500 or better in the MAC, and you're above 500 for the year. So that.
Yeah. But remember, they have
the MAC Sun Belt Challenge too.
Yeah. Yep. But Jerry, in that interview, not only did he say that this was a game he had circled, but they said their team goals. They wanna win the MAC tournament. So
yeah, and I think they want
to make it to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
So,
they want to win the MAC tournament. I mean, when you look at this kind of the stuff that they've done, like their performances haven't been great across the board. Like they've got, like that loss to Indiana State, but they beat Evansville. Crazy. Just like this stretch of games where they go win against Evansville 80-43. You're like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Anderson 89-76, and then at Kent State 75-67. You're like, okay, if you take out that Anderson game, they are looking, like they're going to make that run. So I think, just count that as an outlier. Everyone gets a game off and move on. I think that they're going to be in a good spot in the MAC.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
about Butler.
Let's talk about Butler. They did go up in Torvik ranking,
which is crazy.
They 72. They were previously 77. They did unfortunately go 0-2 this week, bringing their record to 7-8, and a very disappointing 0-4 in the conference. So they lost this week to Villanova 73-65. Then they lost at St. John's 70-62.
They started the season 7-1, Jaren. 7-1. They have now lost 7 straight.
Yeah.
And that one loss in that first 8-game stretch was the Austin Peay loss, which is quad 4 maybe. I don't know. I haven't checked Austin Peay's net. It's at the very best a quad. Like you're hoping that it just is a quad 3 loss. That's your only hope. So, I don't know, man. Like
it is currently a quad 4.
It's quad 4?
Yeah.
Okay. It'll probably stay that way. In the Villanova game, dude, they just absolutely blew it. Just, I don't know if it was effort, heart, what? A 22-1 run for Villanova to end the game in like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it.
I mean, in general, Butler's defense this season not been something to like. It's been pretty bad. This 7-game losing streak though it's been atrocious. They haven't had defense really. Their 6th worst defensive ratings of the season all have come during this 7-game losing skid. We saw
it's like a full landslide now, man.
Yeah, and the 7th was, I believe, the Austin Peay game. So 6 of their 7 being Austin Peay. I thought, during the St. John's game, and we'll talk about that a little bit, I thought their defense looked better. From a rating perspective, it definitely was better. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that they start to kind of figure it out on the defensive side, because we know that they can score. We know that. They've got bucket getters. Their rebounding and their defense have been the big thing. Rebounding on both sides of the court and defense have been the big things. And I'm hoping after that St. John's game, from kind of what we saw, their defense will start to shape up, especially as we get into the heart of conference play for them.
They got a rebound, dude.
Yeah.
They got a rebound. It's just like they're just both very demoralizing losses, because you lose on that 22-1 run. Like you're up 64-51, and then you miss 9 straight shots, get like no stops, 1 point in 6 minutes. And then you play St. John's, who goes 1 for 20 from 3 and still wins.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will give St. John's credit. They've got a really good defense. They held Butler to their second worst offensive rating of the season. I'll give you one guess who their worst was, Adam.
I don't remember. Is it Austin P?
Houston.
Oh, Houston. Oh, that makes sense.
The number one defense in the country. So that's, I mean, again, defense looked better. It was the third best defensive night of the season. Offensive side, I think if they keep that trend on the defensive side, then things will look a little better. They've got 2 close games this week that we will
they need to win. They need to win
these are must
games.
Wins. These are must win games this week.
Yeah. I never thought that they would be 7-8. I didn't think they would be 0-4. I mean, anything can happen in the Big East, but like there are literally no days off because the days off were supposed to be like Villanova at home was supposed to be a day off.
Yeah.
As like that's probably one of the easiest games you get on your schedule is Villanova at home, and they blew that one. So Dogs need to figure some stuff out. The next team though, Evansville has started to figure some stuff out. It looks like they've went up from 310 to 294 in Torvik, so a big jump there. They went 1-1 this week. They lost at Southern Illinois 68-53, and they won at Southern Illinois. Sorry, they got a true road win, 68-53, and then they lost at home to Indiana State 66-62. So that brings them to 5-10 overall and 2-2 in the Missouri Valley. And
did you say they went up to 310 from 294?
I don't think so. Maybe, but
you were like saying it, and I was like thinking as you moved past.
Who knows?
Wait a minute. I think he
everyone knows what I mean.
He said Torvik, so at least.
Yeah, it's good. I'm on this one.
I'll take it. Yeah, I mean the SIU game, Southern Illinois. They played great offense. They played great defense. I think they were very well rounded out there, and that's definitely something you want to see from the Aces, especially the way they'd been playing leading up to this week.
Mm-hmm. You would expect that their increase in production and their playing better would correlate to Pizzotto coming back, but he's still not back.
Right.
And so
maybe they're just learning to play without him.
I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. Their effort's up, their intensity's up, but
or maybe they're a better team without him. I don't know.
I don't know because they had all those losses without him too, right?
Yeah.
Their Southern Illinois though, somebody got hurt. Somebody got hurt like right in the beginning. I failed to write it down. It might have been hand or cuff maybe. Somebody got hurt. And then there was that flagrant 2. Somebody got ejected. So they were on like third string big, and they still ended up winning. Big time there by 15. That's huge. The Indiana State one. The score to me tells me who dictated the game.
Yeah.
It was 66-62. So it was Evansville's pace.
Yeah.
Indiana State wants this to be in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
And so aside from winning, other than winning the game, this is as well as it could have gone. There were some things that people were mad about online. People are always mad online, but like the end of the game, Cam Hafner was benched. He was like 1 for 3, or he had like 3 points. He only had 1 shot in the game going into this, but he was like benched for the whole end of the game, and they were like in a scoring drought. So like maybe you get him in there. He kept him on the bench, and afterwards they asked him, and he was like, I liked the defensive intensity that the guys had, and I just wanted to roll with them. And I think that's a fair.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair thing. I mean, your offense wasn't rolling, but you weren't giving up too much on defense. So like, whatever. It's fine with me.
I mean, if you told me this game was going to be close 3 weeks ago, I would have said you're out of your mind.
Right. I agree.
I wouldn't believe it for a second. I think this shows glimpses of what Evansville can do, and they just haven't done yet this season. And I think they're just going against a better opponent. I just think we've said it before. Like we do think Indiana State is a better team,
right?
And are reflected in our power rankings. Like we've not been shy about that. But I think that just shows that Evansville's got potential. They just got to figure it out.
Yeah,
and I think they're starting to, but which is unfortunate that they had to play Indiana State after coming off two big conference wins.
And Indiana State Indiana State didn't play great, but like Indiana State was mad that they had just dropped a game at home, and so they were going to be fired up. But I mean, things are definitely trending up for the Aces. I mean, I never thought we'd be talking about them losing by 4 to Indiana State and feeling like good about that.
Right.
And winning at Southern Illinois without, 3 players, I guess, if you include Pizzato. So things are trending up, and that's what we're looking for. Indiana, IU, things are also trending up for them. They went from 56 to 51 in Torvik. They went 2-0 this week, big week for the Hoosiers. 12-3 overall, 3-1 in the Big Ten, and they won at home against Rutgers 84-74. That game was without one of the 2 5-star freshmen Rutgers has, Dylan Harper, and then they won. Technically, it is a true road game at Penn State, but it was at the Palestra, which is in Philly. So they won that game 77-71.
There were a lot of Indiana fans there too.
Well, they're IUP. There's IUP, brother. I don't know. Does that count? Do they like?
I don't know how that works.
I don't know. They're Division 2, aren't they?
I think so.
I think they're Division 2.
I don't know.
Because like an IU Indy fan, maybe is it like closer or farther away than like IU Indy? Is IU Indy like more separate because like an in-state Division 1 school, and IUP is like, we're still IU, we're just in Pennsylvania.
I genuinely don't know how it works.
Ask Coach Sig.
Okay. He'd be the man to know.
He would know. So what do you take from these 2 games?
Played great. I thought that, they played with a defensive intensity that a lot of people online were not had not been pleased with this thus far in this season. I think Anthony Leal is IU's best defender, and both of these games helped reiterate that to me.
He's just so smart.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what to do and exactly where to be every time.
Yeah. I just think he, like in the Rutgers game, he at the end of the first half, a ball got loose on the IU side of the court. He went back, got it, then just turned around completely back to the screen and banked a 3-pointer at the buzzer. Like,
he can hit any shot on earth.
Yeah, and he literally said in the post game, he said, "I chased it down. I knew the clock was winding down. I turned around and shot it. Weird things seem to happen to me. I'll take it, but it was a lucky shot." Then he said, "I never focus on my own stats. It's cool that it went in. It was cool to celebrate, but we had to make sure we got the win." That to me, like I said, is a leader.
Yeah, I mean, he's played how many minutes over his 5 years at Indiana? He clearly cares about the cliche, but he cares about the name on the front first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
But
so it is. We do have clarification on IU Pennsylvania.
Okay.
There's a borough in Pennsylvania called Indiana. So I think that's kind of why it's there.
But it's like official in Indiana University. IU.
I don't.
Or
actually think
are
so.
they completely not related?
I think that they're unrelated.
That's insane. That's insane if so. But the first game, I mean, Dylan Harper wasn't in the game, and Dylan Harper playing in this game scared me because the Harpers have, I guess, Ron Harper Jr. has been a public enemy number 1 to Indiana and Purdue. Any Indiana team. I think the only Indiana team to like not be fazed by him was Notre Dame, and when they played in the first 4 and they beat that Rutgers team.
Mm-hmm.
But Ace Bailey played. He went for 39. I was a little bit worried he was going to get the Simon Scott Assembly Hall scoring record.
What is it, 46?
43 or 46 from Trace.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit worried about that, but that didn't happen. And then, Rice was good. Oh, dude. You'd have to come home and be like, next game, it's like, I don't care. Mbako shoot 103, like something.
Yeah,
like someone has to.
You make it your game plan
Yeah.
for someone. Whoever gets hot in the first 5 minutes, they get the ball all night.
The thing that would be the best would be Anthony Leal or Luke Goody to like do it, or Trey Galloway to do it.
Indiana guys.
Yeah. But they played well, and I think we didn't talk about it, but Renew got hurt like immediately.
Yeah,
pretty much immediately.
Yeah,
played. I don't even think one official minute.
Yeah, is out
for a long time, seemingly. Is what he made it sound like. So I think you're seeing like this game and the Penn State game, you're seeing them play with one big, and I think that is like beneficial. I think that that's what we've always wanted, and I think that the two big lineup has been detrimental. It's not Trace and Race anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, when you look at like lineup ratings, there's definitely good games or good possessions, good minutes with two bigs. There's also good minutes without them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's semi-negligible, but I do think that they are better equipped to play with only one big.
Yeah, I think because I think you have you just have like Luke Goody,
you've got
and should be playing the 4. Mbako should be playing the 4. So you have everybody wants to be a 3. Everybody wants to be a 2.
Yeah.
Everyone on this roster is a 4. Dang near. It's a bunch of 4s.
Yeah.
But Renew was out in the Penn State game, and Mbako Ballo balled out again. Mbako was really good. It was tied at half, and it was like that felt pretty good. Like at the Palestra, a very hard place to play.
I love the Palestra though.
Yeah,
I love it. It's probably top 5 on my college basketball arena.
Palestra and Hinkle have like same vibes to me.
Yeah,
they're definitely like they're like same vibes. Old, historic. Like it just feels like an old building that just like I don't know. I feel like they're
seats
like
don't have backs.
Yeah,
you're in bleachers.
They're like I feel like they would be friends. You know.
Yeah.
The spirit of each.
I like Carnesecca as well.
Yeah.
I think that to me fits that same kind of. But did you see in the Rutgers game? Did you see Ballo's block? And then he do the Mutombo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
Was electric. But
all you had.
Sorry, go ahead.
All you had to do is make him sit, and he's playing hard.
Yeah.
That's all you had to do.
You learn your lesson real quick.
Yeah. So they're playing well. I mean, that's positive, and I think that when Renew comes back, it's going to be interesting to see how much they do the two big lineup and how much they do just rotate them in and out, because like we talked about how Ballo's not a high minutes guy.
Yeah.
So like there are a bunch of minutes up for grabs, to just spell him time, but like Renew they can each be getting 25 minutes easy.
Yeah.
Play some together or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a reality.
Mm-hmm. But they took care of business, and they're 3-1. So let's talk about Indiana State.
They went up in Torvik, 191 from 199. They did go heartbreakingly 1-1 this week. Their overall record is 9-6, and they're 3-1 in the conference. In part to due to their loss to Bradley in overtime. They 90-89 was that score. Then they got the win over Evansville, like we mentioned, 66-62.
Dead air. Dead air.
I was waiting for you to talk.
I thought you were going in. Camp Swagner. Start the campaign.
That's what I wanted you to lead with. I was
Camp
just waiting
Swagner.
for it.
Career high 20. He was at Rice last year, just buried on the bench. So I'm not gonna take that as he wasn't ready as a freshman. I'm gonna take that as Matt Graves is a great coach, and Matthew Graves knows who can ball, and he discovered Camp Swagner, and he has come alive.
That sounds to me like it'd be a music festival name.
Camp Swagner.
Yeah.
I was joking, thinking about tweeting like Camp Swagner sounds like what my friends and I would call hanging out in high school.
That's also valid.
You want to go to Camp Swagner? Yeah, I'll be there. Just at your house.
Yeah. No, that's valid. That's what we would call it.
Yeah,
we were in fact friends in high school. Right? That's what we would call it.
That is basically if we had known, if Camp Swagner had been playing for Indiana State at the time, it definitely would have been.
Camp Swagner would have been your mom's basement.
Basically, yeah. Fight Club and Camp Swagner.
Shout out to my couch.
It's still down there.
I know. Just in high school we decided to go
half your couch.
we decided to go halvesies on a $20 couch
from our other friend's grandma.
So we spent $20, I think 10 apiece, on this couch. It was going to his house for his basement
in high school, and
then I think we spent more on cleaning it.
Yeah, we had to clean it because it smelled like smoke, and then we had to get a cover for it.
But we got it down into his basement, and there's a 0% chance that it ever leaves his basement.
It's got to be cut up to get out of there.
Yeah, it was grueling.
I think that means that like when my parents move out, that like I legally own the house. Because, and you own half.
Let's go.
It's like squatters' rights.
They take all of their property out. All that's left is the couch that's ours.
Yeah.
So it's our house. That's
our house.
Our house.
With a couch in the basement. Yeah. But Jaden Daughtry's been really good, and this game should have been theirs. They had a late turnover, I think in the end overtime, which is what lost them the game. And they had like I think 2 timeouts, and Graves afterwards was saying like, I should have called a timeout. Like, I didn't think I should have called a timeout at the very end. Mm-hmm. Like when they had like 3 seconds to get the ball up court. He's like, I wasn't going to call a timeout there. Like we all know what to do. And all that does is give them time to set up like a press.
Yeah.
He was like, I should have called a timeout when they were pressing us and we couldn't get the ball up, before we threw that pass. And I got to say, like the fan reception online was overwhelmingly positive. Like not like, oh my God, like how did we not win this game? We should have had this game. It was like, wow, I can't believe we were in this game. Yeah. We should have had it, but like we're going to win the next one. And I think that the fans are really endearing themselves to Matthew Graves. And I think that they like this is our guy. Like he wants to be here. Yeah. He's made that abundantly clear. Yeah. Like this is the place that he wants to retire. And they're all rallying behind him. So I love that for them.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that after the end of the game, this is the second straight matchup between Indiana State and Bradley that went to overtime. So they
scary
just dogfight it. But Indiana State, they did hold Bradley to 32.3% from 3. And Bradley entered the game leading the country in 3-point percentage at 44.9.
Can't shoot over a tree, brother. Can't shoot over a tree. They didn't win the game.
It's like 90 feet.
About 90 feet.
About 90 feet.
But let's talk about Evansville, because I think that this tells me a lot about the Indiana State team, because they're coming off of a loss and then they have an in-state game. And based on Evansville's early, like if you're Indiana State, like looking at the game at Evansville, you're like, there is absolutely no reason we do not beat their brains in.
Yeah.
Like, we will play fast. Mm-hmm. We will shoot 1,000,000 threes. They will shoot 1,000,000 threes, but they won't hit them. We can absolutely win this.
Yeah.
And that's not how the game went. They didn't shoot super well. They just dug deep and they gutted one out on the road.
Yeah.
Which is what you have to do in the Missouri Valley.
Well, that was it. It was their second best defensive performance this season. Mm-hmm. The only one better that they had was against Chicago State, which was their 4th game of the season. But it, like I said, it wasn't a strong offensive performance in general from a rating perspective, but their defense was just so stifling that even though they kind of played at Evansville's pace, like we talked about, mm-hmm. their defense, did their thing, so they could just still win it out.
Yeah, and obviously one of the first things on the scattering report when you play Indiana State is going to be their 3-point shooting. Indiana
Correct.
State is a team that they're going to take layups and going to take threes.
Yep.
They're going to take like no mid range, and I mean I think that's beautiful basketball. But
I love the mid range though.
listen, nothing. When I went to the IWU St. Francis women's game,
Yep.
just because like spacing is different in women's basketball, so much mid range, so nice,
Pure.
So
it's just
nice.
a beautiful shot, especially when it's just wet.
Hitting like a 14-footer,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Especially like on the sideline, beautiful. But Jaden Daughtry was awesome again. He had 27 points in the win against Evansville. Like he's just a force down low right now, and he's inevitable, man. He's gonna get his and help the team win any way he can. He can score 5. He's gonna do whatever he needs to do. So
For sure.
they dug deep. I think that's the thing you take out of this. They dug deep. They've got to go on the road again, and they've got to do that again against a team that plays a very different style of basketball.
Yeah.
So
IU Indy, they unfortunately dropped in Torvik ranking for the
it's
first
our
time.
first team
that we've talked about that has dropped, and the first time in
today.
a while. I think that IU Indy has dropped. It's been several weeks, but they are 330 down from 328, so only 2 spots. But they did go 0-2 this week, bringing their overall record to 5-12. They are 1-5 in the Horizon League. They lost to Youngstown State 77-61, and they lost at Cleveland State 67-61. They're on a 7-game losing streak.
Who's gonna break first?
Butler or
the Jags?
Well, I will say that all of the 5 of the 7 have all been single-digit losses, which is it's nice to see, right? We talk about this team, a lot of Division II players, a lot of transfers. Obviously, they're all transfers, but other than the freshmen,
Right? Transferred from high school.
Yeah,
That's an up transfer.
That's valid. So like some of these games, like we thought that they would win, that they'd pull off, but I don't look at a 7-game losing streak from IU Indy is a lot different than a 7-game losing streak from Butler, in my opinion, at least, just because Butler's team has been around together. They've got a lot of experience where the IU Indy team doesn't. They're all new to the Division I level. Most of them are new to the Division I level,
And they have a Final Four coach.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, he did it with All Americans, and this team doesn't have All Americans, but like
Right.
he has literally been to a Final Four.
yeah. So I think that's. I wanted to add that context that you talk about 7-game losing streaks. You hate to see them, regardless of who it is, but the circumstances are definitely different.
And there is it's almost coin flippable to be 4-3, 3-4, right?
Yeah.
Like I think of the Northern Kentucky game.
Yep.
Absolutely could have been theirs. The Purdue Fort Wayne game absolutely could have been theirs.
Yeah.
So like they're not getting their brains beat in.
Yeah.
They're contending. They're beating. It's just it reminds me a little bit just in the results column of like Southern Indiana last year where like they're losing close games that they just like if they make 2 more shots, their record is 5 games better or something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the vibes it's giving to me right now. I mean, Youngstown State and Cleveland State, good teams. Like Youngstown State was on a 7-game winning streak heading into this game. Like that's tough. Their defense was just nuts. And then Zelinski struggled against Cleveland State. Not many people have been able to. I don't know if it was an off night or if their scouting report was really good and they like really executed it well against him. But like no one's really been able to shut him down, and that happened. I mean, they started out 0-10, so like from the jump, it was a little bit scary. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's probably silly to say it, but if you take out that first 10 minutes where they were down 10-0,
yeah,
like I think that they win this game.
Well, I mean, then it's 61-57. I mean, it obviously changes everything about the game. It changes every single possession. Therefore,
yeah, it's
But Tamaris Brown was good, 19 points off the bench. There's a lot to be positive about, and like we are still positive about this. It's just Youngstown State wasn't close. Pretty much all the others have been pretty close.
Right.
And so,
I mean, I liked what Persaro said after the Youngstown State game. That I thought our kids played hard, and I thought they played together. I think we're getting better every game, but it's time that we finish and put a full 40 minutes together. That's the next step.
Yep.
I mean, again, like he notices the same thing. Obviously, he notices it because he's right there next
imagine
to him.
he doesn't.
But like the same things we're kind of saying is they're playing better and playing more together, and they're playing hard game after game.
Yeah.
And that's what you look for.
Imagine, I think the only coach in America who would like listen to a podcast and be like, I have not thought about that yet.
Gottlieb.
Snap, dude. I haven't thought of it. He's checking in. He's like, oh my God, we would have beaten them if we had done this. Thanks, state of basketball guys. Yeah. Notre Dame, they went down from 82 to 92. They went 0-2 this week. I feel like a lot of teams went 2-0 and a lot of teams went 0-2, but they're 7-7 overall and 1-2 in the ACC. They lost at Georgia Tech 86-75, and then they lost at home to North Carolina 74-73 in an absolute gut-wrenching heartbreaker.
Yeah. Before we talk about UNC, obviously I want to talk about Georgia State.
Yep. Tech.
Georgia Tech, yeah, sorry.
Georgia State, you're thinking of Ball State, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they play Georgia State?
Yeah.
And then you got me later.
Yep.
Mhm. I'll never forget. Ask me their mascot.
Who, Georgia State?
Bulldogs? No.
I think they're Panthers.
Panthers. Yep.
I think they're Panthers.
Some four-legged animal.
Yeah. Matalacco, I thought, has been filling the void as of late from in the assist category with Marcus Burton being out. Well, Matalacco, names swapped up. My brain is peanut sized.
One-time math major, though. Print the shirts.
What does that have to do with anything?
Print the
to do
shirts.
with
Print the
names?
shirts. I mean, your brain can't be that small if you're a math major.
Well, it can. Why do you think I quit?
At least your brain is big enough to know you should switch.
That's
You
valid.
just keep beating your head against the wall.
But Matalacco tied his season high with 7 assists, and over their last 3 games, including Georgia Tech in the 2 games prior, had 18 assists. So the dude's just finding dudes to score, which is what Marcus Burton
compared
is
to
great at.
Compared to the age of the rest of the team, he's like 1,000. So like and he's got really good, he's a good guard.
Peanut-sized brain.
No, dude, he's got like Rain Man ability out there.
But it was their worst defensive rating of the season in that Georgia Tech game. So defense not great, but Lacco found guys to score.
They fought back though. I mean, they fought back. They're down 19 at halftime. Marcus Burton scores about 20 some points a game. So Marcus Burton, that's a win.
Yeah.
But they fought back. Tay Davis had 27, 22 of them were in the second half. Like they fought back. Georgia Tech just said, nah, we're good. And they handled business.
Yeah. What they were down, Georgia Tech was up 3.
And
then they went on a
10-2 run. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
do it.
That'll
do it. And it's at Georgia Tech. So like you really gotta get, some luck on your side. North Carolina game, Burton came back. He came in off the bench.
I was so happy to see that he checked in.
Dude.
It was like a kid on Christmas.
Next year's gonna be nasty.
It's gonna be good.
But he came back. He came off the bench, like you said. They were down 12 in the first half. Absolutely, like the worst way to end it is a 4-point play for Elliot Cadeau hitting his 3 that Matalacco fouled him on, and then he hits the and one, and then Burton can't hit his prayer at the end.
Yeah, and it was like primed for Marcus Burton's game to be back. To just drive to the rim.
Yeah,
and put it in, but he missed that by like, I don't know. It was a close shot, but didn't happen. I thought their defense was better against North Carolina. North Carolina's not the North Carolina that the world is
Not,
familiar with.
yeah,
This is
and
like
it's not who they
this
thought.
is like post national championship NIT bid North Carolina
Mm-hmm.
of what 2021. Or was that 22?
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, when they well, yeah, because they went to the tournament in 2021, right?
Lost or won the championship.
No, they lost to Kansas.
Oh yeah.
You know what? If we're talking hypothetical championships, you've given that one to them twice on this show. Because I remember you said something last year, and I was like, "Hang on, no, they lost this game, Jaren." It would have been the 2022 tournament, right?
I think so.
2021. Hang on, there was no tournament in 20.
Right.
So then 2021 was when they went to the Final Four, and then 2022 was the year they didn't make the tournament, and then last year they made the tournament. Wait, that was 2023. That was the 2024 tournament, though. They made it last year. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it was not last season, but the season before that, when they were not that good. But where were we with this team? I don't know. It's just nice that they only lost by one, basically.
Oh yeah, no. What I was saying was like their defense was better. Then they played against Georgia Tech, but their offense wasn't particularly great. And that to me is a testament to Marcus Burton being back. Is their offense was not great.
Mm-hmm.
They only lost by one. Like decent defense,
yeah,
pretty terrible offense overall, but it was a close game. And
right.
I think without Marcus Burton, your offense plays the way that they did, you're losing by 20.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Purdue Fort Wayne because we got to get moving. They went 1-1 this week. They went up 2 spots in Torvik from 143 to 141. They're 11-6 overall, 4-2 in the Horizon League. They had a heartbreaker at Northern Kentucky in a very familiar way that we've seen this year, 69-68. And then they won over who was currently, at the time, undefeated in the conference and number 1 in the Horizon League, Youngstown State, 90-81. They were on an 8-game winning streak because they obviously beat IU Indy. They brought an 8-game winning streak into that, and then Purdue Fort Wayne crushed their hopes and dreams, as they like to do.
Yes.
But they had their hopes and dreams crushed in the Northern Kentucky game.
Yeah, I mean, they went to overtime.
But they went to overtime because there was NKU had a shot at the buzzer that was a wedgie. They had a wedgie at the buzzer, and the ref said no time left, go to overtime, which is just crazy. If I had a nickel for every time I saw a wedgie at the end of a game against an Indiana school in Northern Kentucky, I'd have 2 nickels. But that's weird because it happened to IU Indy, but then they were like, no, there is time left, and then they made it, and then they won.
Yeah. But they went 0 for 4 from 3 in overtime, which is less than ideal, especially for this Dons team, who is very much a 3-point shooting team.
Yep.
They didn't miss a free throw, though. They only shot 7, but they made 100% of them. In the Youngstown State game, 23 fast break points. That's 3-pointers and fast break points
That's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's their bread and butter for sure.
That's what's gonna win them games. That's also what they had only 2 offensive rebounds.
You don't need offensive rebounds if you're making them.
Well, yeah, and I don't remember their shooting numbers, but you definitely felt Mulder being gone when you look at that offensive rebound stat. But
I miss him.
Yeah, we all do.
But the usual suspects were there: Jalen Jackson, Rasheed Bello, Maximus Nelson hitting his shots. But playing really well. Like, should have had that game in Northern Kentucky. That one, I think. What do you think hurts more, the Northern Kentucky loss or was it the Milwaukee? Did they play Milwaukee? Their other loss, their opener, where they just got smacked.
Which one's worse?
Which one do you think they are more mad about?
Probably the conference opener.
Me too. Because like they just got punked basically.
Yeah, expectations were so high, and then they just go in and struggle to start the conference. Definitely think it's that one.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
Anything else on the Dons?
They won the Ice Age Classic Trophy between them and Youngstown State. Just the best trophy.
And what, Penguins?
A penguin, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Purdue, they did move up for the first time in a while in Torvik. They're 20 from 27. They did go 2-0 this week, bringing their record to 11-4 overall with a 3-1 conference record. They won at Minnesota 81-61, and then they won over Northwestern 79-61.
I think that Minnesota is absolutely garbage. And it's nice that they won by 20 after it was close in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, they've got I guess history on their side when it comes to that, because Purdue is now 35-4 all time against Minnesota when scoring at least 80 points. And then
they barely squeaked that in there.
Yeah,
they get to 79. It's a different game, different ball
game. Exactly. But they have won 3 straight road games in the barn. Purdue has, so that's
good.
It's good.
Yeah. Road games are tough. Like, it doesn't matter that it's Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota has a single Big Ten win yet, but like, it's just hard to win on the road, and they, responded to the first half performance and they won by 20. So that's what we're looking for. Then they beat Northwestern, and I had to watch Brooks Barnheiser's retainer teeth fly across the screen about 30 times because they kept showing it on replay, just an unnecessary amount of times. Like because his teeth popped out, there was no foul. So like they were looking at it to see if like knocking your teeth out is like a flagrant one. It was crazy. And then did you see the picture of him afterwards? He looked insane. No, because his front teeth were just gone. Yeah. It was crazy.
Last year we always talked about Purdue's crazy win streak records and whatnot. Well, they've now won 25 after the Northwestern game. They've won 25 straight home games dating back to February of 2023. That is tied for the 6th longest in America, the 3rd longest in Mackey Arena history. So something to watch out for there.
Good. This game was just a beatdown, like from start to finish. They just jumped out, and Boo Booey's gone, so it was okay. IU didn't have to play Dylan Harper, and Purdue didn't have to play Boo Booey. All is right. All is right. One team too early. Southern Indiana, they went down because they went 0-2 this week. They went down from 327 to 339. They're 6-8 overall, and they're 1-3 in the Ohio Valley. They lost at home to Morehead State 70-68, and then they went to Tennessee Tech and they lost there 68 to 64.
Close losses make me sad.
It just brings me right back to last year, man.
And they had 2 this week. Morehead State game, Damani Harrison and Braxton Jones just had no help. They had, I think Harrison, I believe, had 24. Braxton had 20. Well, the bench had 20. So they were over half their points from just those 2. So they just the bench wasn't there to help them out.
The thing about this is I feel like these games, they're getting like down in them late, or they're like somewhere in the second half they're down by like 10 or more, and then they fight back, and they just can't complete the rally. Like they just can't complete the comeback all the way, which really, really stinks. Because like, I love this team. They're so fun. Like, how many times are you going to see Olawani absolutely have a highlight? He has a highlight dunk in every single game, sometimes like 5.
Yeah.
The team's so fun to watch. They just need to close these games out, and we'll be talking.
Yeah, to end the Tennessee Tech game, there's a lot of promise. They went on a 12-7 run. Harrison had 9 of the 12, so
yep,
it just clutch. Just couldn't help pull it off. But Olwani did have his second double of the season, and a season high 13 boards. So
26 points, 13 boards.
Yep,
Zach Edey numbers. Shout out to Jack Campion, top 15 in USI history for assists. So love that for Camp. I don't have a Jack Campion nickname. I'll think of one.
Camp assists a lot. No. Okay.
Valpo, they went up quite a bit here this week. They went up from 226 to 203, so they're almost in the top 200, baby. They went 2-0. That brings them to 9-6 on the season, 2-2 in the Missouri Valley. They won at Missouri State 73-72, huge, and then they beat Northern Iowa 80-73. Northern Iowa, who was in first in the Missouri Valley.
They were picked preseason second in the conference as well. So
when Valpo was picked
last,
one of the last teams, it was like Valpo, Evansville, and Indiana State. They were like the caboose.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
I think the Northern Iowa win is their biggest win of the season. Thoughts?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to think back to their games. Absolutely.
It's because like they almost beat Drake at home.
Yep.
But like Northern Iowa is higher in the Missouri Valley standings than Drake. This game they actually won.
Yeah.
So like I think that this game is huge, and like UNI is a top 100 team. Bradley's a top 85. They almost had that game. They lost in double overtime to Bradley. So looking at barely lose to Drake, beat Northern Iowa, and then go to double overtime with Bradley, who can they not beat?
Right, and I think that's kind of like what I mentioned something similar last week, is like there's a lot of promise to this team. Like there's I think that they were most certainly underestimated. I'll say it. I think we underestimated them. Or no, we
didn't underestimate them. We just think of the guys that are playing. Think of the guys that are playing well. It's De La Cruz Monegro.
Yep.
Transfer.
Yep.
It's Tyler Schmidt, transfer. It's all right. It's a freshman. We knew Kaspar Sepp.
Yep.
And then
Schwieger,
obviously.
We ranked them preseason with the expectation that Isaiah Stafford would be playing. I think that lifted our rankings. And when they started the season, we were like, oh, we were really wrong.
Right.
Because they weren't playing well. But
we were like, our rankings did factor in him playing. And like, they're playing. I don't think he's coming back. Like, I don't think he's going to play at all this season.
I think he's probably.
Yeah, they haven't said anything official, but I imagine he's just done. But they're playing really well. Like I obviously Allright's a freshman. Didn't know Allright was going to be cooking like that. Yeah. Didn't know, had a high opinion of what Tyler Schmidt could do.
Yep.
Didn't know that it was going to come to fruition. Thought it might, but their team is just playing really well. And I think that they can compete with anyone. There's no reason, like we talked about Indiana State, I think last week, like no reason they can't be top 4. I think there's no reason Valpo can be top 4. If they're competing with these top 100 teams in the Missouri Valley, of course they can get a bye in Arch Madness if they keep playing like this.
Okay, we have confirmation from I just noticed it from your mother. She said I can have the couch, but she said you get the house.
I get the house, you get the couch.
Yeah, you'll let me sleep on the couch. So.
Okay, that's in writing. Tell all my siblings that is literally in writing.
I'll we'll screenshot that so you can send it to your sibling group chat.
But yeah, they can contend. So I'm really excited for Valpo. I want to get to Valpo. Yep. They play Indiana State this week, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Well, before we do, I want to talk about one last thing about the Northern Iowa game. Valpo was just 5-33 all time against UNI going into that game. 6-33 now, baby.
Nobody beats us. I don't know how many times in a row it was. That's huge. And like Valpo, because Valpo was not very good in the Missouri Valley for a while. Like, once Drew's left.
Yeah.
Like, there have been some down years, so this is really, really good to see, and I love what Roger Powell is building there. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I would like to know who your Jimmy Chitwood Player of the Week is.
Well, the Indiana Hoosiers finally unlocked Umar Ballo's full skill set when they purchased the Upstairs Pub DLC, Jaren. He sat out a week after, he was seen at the Upstairs Pub, and since he's been back, 17 points and 12 rebounds and 3 blocks against Rutgers. Then at Penn State, 25 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. And he came back after his game off, and he's just like, you know what? They bought the DLC. I'm here. I'm bringing it, guys. I got the new skins. I got the new guns. We're cooking, and he has been playing incredible, leading this Indiana Hoosiers team to 2 straight wins this week and doing it in a dominant fashion.
Yeah, he just
the
Matumbo,
you gotta love the Matumbo.
That was just highlight of that game for me, and that's after Lille hit the half court shot.
Yep. Just he's cooking.
Speaking of cooking, what do we have cooking for the games next week? In-state.
We have an in-state matchup.
Yes.
That's on Wednesday. Are there no games tomorrow? Or is this game on Tuesday?
Tomorrow.
What's today?
Today's the 5th.
The 5th. Okay.
So
no games tomorrow. No games on Monday. On Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Indiana State travels to Valparaiso. Valparaiso is actually favored by 4 points in this game, which is kind of surprising based on how many games Indiana State has won, but Valpo's right there. And Indiana State's not a top 100 team. Valpo likes to put out teams in their ranking area, so
yeah,
it's gonna be crazy. I would like to be at this game. I don't think I will be. I'm gonna try. Gotta
ask the boss.
I gotta ask the boss. Valpo's 2 hours away. That's a stretch, but we'll see. So that's the one that I have circled as the in-state game, and then I think that of all the games, I think that the most important one is Butler at Providence. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. They are half-point dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a must-win game for Butler.
And they 7 in a row, lost 7 in a row. I think they have to win this game. Providence is, what's his face? Bryce Hopkins. He's been playing and not playing. He's not fully healthy. So if he's not playing, you absolutely have to have this one, because this is, I said, I guess Providence coming to your place would probably be one of the easiest games if he's not playing, as well as Villanova coming to your place. This is gonna be, if he's not playing, probably the easiest road game for you. So you have to win this one to break that losing streak.
Yeah, you gotta get on the road too. You gotta steal it. You gotta steal it. We've also got real quick. You got a compliment on your jacket from Zach, the Purdue fan. He also confirmed that Purdue was picked, or Valpo was picked 10th.
Let's go. Yeah, I picked this up at a Goodwill. My Valpo jacket. If I can be in attendance, which I don't think I will be. When I go to Valpo for a game, I will be wearing this, of course.
Ball State, they do play Miami of Ohio.
Mm-hmm. At home
in Worthen. Tuesday at 7 p.m. They're 1.5 point favorites, which is what you like to see for the Cardinals, or what I like to see, especially for the Cardinals. They started MAC play with a win.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep the ball
no
rolling.
hangover. Yep. No hangover from that win.
Yep, keep the ball rolling.
I think
bouncing. Keep the ball bouncing.
I think if you're looking at most important games, I guess I should say 1A and 1B for me are Butler at Providence, and then IU Indy at Detroit Mercy, or versus Detroit Mercy, because it's at home. That's on Thursday at 6:30. They play Detroit Mercy. They're also trying to snap a 7-game losing streak skid. And then Southern Indiana only plays one game at 8:30 on Thursday against SEMO. They're 10.5-point dogs, but they also need to snap this losing skid that they're on, this losing streak. So,
and then I think the final one for me is Indiana at Iowa. They are 5-point dogs. That is Saturday. That's gonna be a big momentum swing for the Hoosiers. I think Iowa's been playing pretty well lately. I believe, and it's always tough to play.
They just lost to somebody, and I remember this because the quote was like, "We knew they don't want to play defense, so we just we just scored as much as we wanted to." It was like what the player said. They just lost to somebody. I will find that for you.
But I think it's a big momentum swing for Indiana going in at the top. They always play. Games are always close. It was Wisconsin.
116-85. They're like, we know they don't want to play defense.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree, especially because Indiana has been, under Mike Woodson, has just not been able to beat Iowa.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to turn the season around and show the fans that, like, we got this. This
is the one to do it.
Yeah.
Game to do it. Let's talk about last week, the other 49. So Monday, Kansas State beat number 3 Cincinnati 70-67.
Wait.
What?
Cincinnati's not the 3rd ranked team in the country.
Did I have a typo in my?
You didn't have a typo. The unpaid intern had a typo in the notes.
Well,
23 Cincinnati would be more. Are they ranked?
They're definitely ranked.
I will pull this up. AP top 25. Please don't be football. Iowa State is 3. Cincinnati, 16th.
Where did the 3 come from?
Bro.
Well, they
beats
Kansas
me.
State beat
16th.
16 ranked Cincinnati by 3.
Okay, so clip that out.
70-67.
Clip that out. It's they were
Pepperdine almost beat 19 Gonzaga at home 82-89. So close.
Do you think Gonzaga's cooked if they like fall to some of these WCC teams?
Yeah.
They'll make the tournament because that Baylor win will probably get them in alone.
I'll just carry them.
But like, I mean, Baylor's not that great. Like they'll be like a 6-7 seed probably. I've not dove into my bracketology yet, but
yeah, you were supposed to.
That would,
it's a
there's a lot of there's a lot of things I want to get into. That's one of them. But I just feel like if they lose some WCC games, it's going to be real interesting because like even St. Mary's isn't what we thought.
Yeah.
So it's going to get real dangerous for them in their last year in the WCC.
I think so.
Because they moved to the Pac-12.
I think so.
Bro.
Or they were rumored to move to the Pac-12. I don't know if it was ever confirmed.
They are moving. They are officially, I think.
I know it was like rumored. It was like confirmed, and then it was like, actually, no, this is made up.
Yeah.
Then it was confirmed again, I think. Or I guess reconfirmed. But let's move on to Tuesday. I'll read this one because it's relevant to me. My Mountaineers beat number 7 Kansas in Allen Fieldhouse 62-61. West Virginia is playing damn good basketball, and
they did it without Tucker DeVries, and they did it like 2 of their top 3 scorers weren't even playing.
Yeah, so big stuff coming out of Morgantown on the basketball court. And then my guess the game.
You ever been to West Virginia?
And in West Virginia, like
you never been
a
to
restaurant,
like going through. Where were you going?
Like New York or Jersey, I think maybe. So maybe not.
Bro, is that in the way? There's maybe no way. There's no way that's in the path.
Maybe I've never touched foot in
because
West
I went through West Virginia, going to North Carolina. There's absolutely. So I went on my way to.
Maybe I was going to North Carolina. I don't know.
If you went to your grandma's up in Raleigh or Asheville, you might have gone through. Like there's a way to go. Like I think you have to go through pretty much, unless you go straight down
Bro,
and
you
over.
just doxed my grandma.
I've listed her full address. It was crazy.
I mean, if you take there's an interstate that goes through Columbus, I think 75 or 70, that cuts through like the tip of West Virginia.
Don't even. Okay, but did you get out? You're like, hang on, I gotta plan this out, guys. I gotta specifically stop in this rest stop in West Virginia so I can say I've been there.
I was gonna go to my graduation for my master's degree in Morgantown, but COVID happened, so it got canceled, then like pushed back, and I was like, I'm not going to Morgantown in the winter. They got rid of their summer graduation. It was gonna be in December, and I was like, there ain't no way I'm going there in December.
I have been to West Virginia. I don't think I got out because I don't particularly like driving through the mountains. Is there anyone who likes driving through the mountains?
I enjoy it.
I don't know, man. My kind of highway driving is cruise control, look forward. Driving through West Virginia is like, there was a highway, and now all of a sudden we're on the side of a mountain, and here's a town.
Yeah.
And then here's another town. And it's just like, this is a highway. And it's like, no, dude, there's a convenience store right there. Like I can pull into this convenience store.
Yeah. But finishing off Tuesday, my guess the game, the Pirates of the Caribbean game, Xavier stomped Seton Hall 94-72.
Wednesday, UConn beat DePaul 81-68. Thursday, dude, this is I think the craziest result of the week for me. 22 Illinois, if we can trust the intern, went into Eugene and destroyed top 10, number 9 Oregon 109-77. Getting beat by like 30 points is embarrassing, but as a top 10 team in your house, next level embarrassing. Like I don't even know. Like that's the biggest like welcome to the Big Ten you could have gotten for Oregon. So tough week for Oregon fans. You lose in the CFP, and then Illinois smacks you in the face with a hammer.
Yeah, especially traveling all the way halfway across the country. Friday, number 18, Michigan State beat Ohio State 69-62. I think the world is a better place when there's a number next to Michigan State's name. I'll say it.
You think he wins another one?
This year?
No, just ever.
100%.
He's so old. He's so old.
He won't retire till he gets another ring. Do they get rings?
Yeah, of course they get rings, Jaren.
Yeah.
You don't remember Cam Spencer getting his ring at practice at the game with it?
Yeah.
Hang on. We just saw how many old coaches retire.
He's young at heart, though.
Jay Wright's literally young. He's young in every way you can think about it.
Michigan State has NIL money, though, so like,
bro,
it's a lot easier, probably.
You know, alums are rich at Nova. Come on.
Okay.
Anyway, Creighton lost to Marquette by 8. St. Louis beat St. Joe's. That's some A10.
Hey, Friday was mine.
You weren't talking. I'm trying to move. We digress. St. Louis beat St. Joe's 73-57. Was that our Friday game?
Yeah, that's why it was included. Saturday, number 1 Tennessee beat 23 Arkansas 76-52.
Did you see what he said?
No.
Okay, so one of my good friends.
Oh, that they didn't like.
They didn't have shoot around.
Yeah, they didn't shoot around.
I don't know. Probably a noon tip.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was busy on Saturday. They didn't have shoot around, which is crazy. But also like to blame it on like we didn't have shoot around. Like say, hell yeah, we lost because we didn't have a shoot around. It is wild to me.
Yeah. Number 3 Iowa State beat 25 Baylor 74-55. 5 Alabama beat 12 Oklahoma 107-79. I love conference play.
Oh, that was Oklahoma's first loss.
Yeah. And it was an absolute stomp. Number 10 Kentucky beat 6 Florida in an absolute barn burner 106-100.
Dude, and that's just crazy. That's Mark Pope, baby. That's Mark Pope and Todd Golden at Florida.
Yep. Nebraska defended Pinnacle Bank against a West Coast Bruin invasion, beating UCLA. I guess it would be evasion as well. They beat UCLA 66-58 at home.
I feel like you made a guess the game out of that. Just for fun.
Yeah, I did.
You're like, I mean, Pete, the unpaid intern. No, wait, it says Jaren wrote that one. Okay, you're good. You're good. I didn't see the note.
I sent him a text. I was like, I want to have fun with this one.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
And then Arizona beat 16 Cincy. It was right this time.
Are they 3rd or 16th? The world may never know.
16. 72-67.
You ever been to Cincy campus?
Yeah.
Really?
Stayed at a hotel right across from their like lacrosse soccer field arena.
Nice. Now I want to play lacrosse soccer.
Well, I think it's like a multi-purpose, I think.
Okay. Broke.
But yeah, I've been on their campus.
Sunday, number 11 UConn was down bad in the first half to Providence, and then they came back and won 87-84. Number 9 Oregon beats Maryland. Maryland had to do the out west trip, I guess, being travel partners with Illinois, even though they don't really do that anymore. Maryland went 0-2, but Oregon beat them. Bounce back game 83-79, and Illinois went to Washington, won 81-77. Which is crazy because like Oregon's the good team and Washington is like one of the worst Big Ten teams, and they beat the brakes off of Oregon to make a statement and then could barely get past Washington. But goes to Michael Penix's knees. No, those are at IU. Never mind.
Yeah,
those are at IU for sure. North Texas was close with number 21 Memphis. Memphis won by 4, and then FAU was 1.5 point favorites against Eastern Carolina, and they were as close to that line as you can get by winning by 2.
Yeah.
All right.
So this coming week, Monday game of the day, Wisconsin is at Rutgers at 7 p.m. Wisconsin are 5-point favorites. There's not a lot going on Monday. But if Harper plays, then he and Ace, as they've been all season, are must watch basketball.
Mondays are like I guess usually because of Monday Night Football, but also like they just don't schedule many college basketball games for Mondays.
Yeah,
no one wants to play on a Monday. It's like the scraps.
There's so many games on Saturdays and Sundays that
no one plays on Monday.
Yeah, there's no carryover.
Tuesday, the only undefeated team in the country goes to Florida and has to put this to the test. So they are 1-point favorites. Tennessee, that is the number 1 team in the country, according to the AP poll. That's at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. The top 10 matchup. It's the number 2 defense, Tennessee, versus the number 8 offense that just scored 100 points at Kentucky and lost. So this is like a classic unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Like it's like Baylor, Gonzaga national championship type beat. And so I'm excited about this one, and we're going to be watching the second half together. No doubt.
Yeah, I might even sneak in the first half. Part of the first half.
I'll be free.
Same. Wednesday, game of the day, Drake at Bradley. Bradley are 2-point favorites. That is 7 p.m. Drake lost twice this week. One to Murray State and the other to IUC, University of Illinois, Chicago. Bradley has yet to take a loss in the conference. And these are the teams that ISU, UE, and I guess ISU, Evansville, and Valpo need to beat to shake things up in the Valley. I don't like saying UE because it sounds like UE.
See, I say UE. Like I enunciate it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't.
And you know what? Maybe I just type UE because it's easier to type, but then I don't say it. Like, there are things like that where you type it a certain way.
I was just reading. I mean, you didn't type this, but actually, no, it does say that Adam wrote this one.
It says Adam specifically wanted to mention Evansville.
Yeah.
But it says UE. Like, I wanted to mention UE.
Yeah. Okay, you're up. Thursday.
There was something I wanted to say about this. Oh, shout out to our sponsor, Tangentially, I guess, if you want to call it that, because he posted that Drake lost at home, and I commented, and I was like, Now the intern is going to have to update our notes for this game. But then I did it myself. Thursday, our game of the day is Oregon at Ohio State. Ohio State's a half-point favorite. That's at 6 p.m. So if you're a Valpo guy, shouts to Diebler. Oregon needs a bounce-back game. I know they won one against Maryland, but they got beat by 32 at home. So you got to go out and make a statement. And Ohio State is like that team that's like ranked high enough that you can go beat on the road and make a statement to kind of make up for that loss.
Yeah, for sure. Friday, our game of the day, we've got some action.
Woo!
Central Michigan at Toledo. Toledo are 5-point favorites. That is 8 p.m. Friday night.
Saturday, there's a ton because Saturdays are big in college basketball because college football's done except for the playoff. I don't even know when the next round is. It's not this day, I'm pretty sure, because there's a lot going on, but it could be. Big day. Intern just put a screenshot of the games that day, so I'm just going to go with a defensive battle of Iowa State at Texas Tech. Texas Tech is it's a toss-up game. It's a 50-50 game. I don't even know what time that is because it's not even listed in this thing, but
yeah.
That's going to be a fun game. I mean, Kentucky, Mississippi State going to be good. I think Kansas at Cincinnati. Nice. There's a ton on this. I mean, literally just turn on the TV and just watch something.
Or CBS or Fox.
Tennessee at Texas is going to be interesting. Tennessee has a second road game that week. Tennessee's favored by 6 points. Gonna be a good game. All of them.
And then Sunday is Wright State at Robert Morris. Our unpaid intern did not write the game time. But Wright State are 1-point favorites. It's Horizon League play. Both teams are 2-3 as of writing this.
2 p.m.
So 2 p.m. game.
Shouts to Dan Beret, who was one of the coaches at the Dane Fife basketball camp that I went to, I think. All I remember is Dane Fife.
He is a
associate head coach.
Alum.
Mm-hmm.
But then, associate head coach at Wright State.
Yep. So
and his wife was our Spanish teacher. Yep. My Spanish teacher. I don't know if you had her.
I had her. Spanish 3. Spanish 3 with Senor Beret.
Yep. Guess the game. I think you go first.
Do I go first?
I don't think it matters. Just go first.
Okay. Do you want to win or do you not want to win?
I would like to win.
Okay. Mine I feel pretty good about, and regardless of if you get it or not, I need you to tell me that it was a good clue.
Okay.
And if you get it wrong, it's a skill issue.
Okay.
So it's not as easy as Purple Trees last week, I'll tell you that. So updated records, we are both 3-5. So this could be the one that sets us on our course, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Jaren, my guess the game of this week is Rich African takes on British royalty.
Rich African.
Mm-hmm. He's going to take on some British royalty.
For some reason, Rich African makes me think Princeton.
Oh, that's a good, because okay, I get where you're going at.
The meme spam emails
Ethiopian
of the
prince.
Ethiopian prince, yeah.
You're barking up the wrong tree, but
Rich
but that is really funny. I like that though.
I couldn't even begin to think of what that is. And
what if I change it to richest African?
I still don't know that I would know that.
You're gonna hear it and you're like, come on, dude. And then you're gonna be like, that was a really good clue, Adam. Thank you. That was a skill issue.
And then British royalty.
Mm-hmm.
British royalty makes me think of William and Mary.
Okay.
But who the heck would William and Mary be playing? Couldn't tell you. Is it William and Mary?
It is William and Mary.
Okay. Rich African. I don't know what conference William and Mary's in.
I'm gonna look it up, but I'm not gonna tell you.
I know you're not. Uh,
Oh,
is it like a is it like
it's a rich African.
is it like a I have no idea. I give up. It's William and Mary.
What was your question gonna be?
Is the school like a named person school?
I don't know where their name comes from. Genuinely, I know where William and Mary comes from. King William and Queen Mary, but
Right.
yeah,
That's
I don't know. I've never looked it up.
I have no idea.
So you're gonna kick yourself here. So the rich African takes on British royalty is indeed William and Mary. It is Elon at William and Mary.
He's South African.
Yep.
That's oh.
That is Thursday,
You did me
January
like
9th at
that.
7 p.m.
That was a good hint.
Audrey suggested that I say rich South African, and I was like, I feel like that's too obvious.
I still would have thought about it. It still would have taken me a second.
Right, but like I feel like that, like how many rich South Africans do you know? Like rich African is almost like a trick, you know, but it's not because he's a white guy.
Right.
From South Africa.
That's South African would have probably been it would have gotten me closer. Still I'm not convinced that I would have gotten it, but it would have gotten me closer.
Elon is named after the Hebrew word for oak, Elon, because the school was built in a grove of oak trees. That's very wholesome. I like that. I have one note for you on William and Mary, and that's on February 8th, coming up, in a month. That's a month and 2 days. Anyway, 1693, King William and Mary, King William III and Queen Mary II of England signed a charter for a, quote, perpetual college of divinity, philosophy, languages, and other good arts and sciences, end quote, to be established in the Virginia colony. Yep. They've never changed the name, but like that's a very specific thing. You think they like reflect like that's still their mission statement or something?
Probably not.
I hope not. I hope not.
No, I think that there's a stat that like they're like the oldest school in the country that has fraternity and sorority life. Like they've had it the longest.
It seems
something like that. I don't know. I looked it up when I was working for
fraternity.
My old fraternity.
Whoa.
My old job working.
Okay,
for
thank you, thank you for life, Jaren.
Not 4 years. My turn.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I think I've got it. I think I've been fine tuning it all so far, right?
Easy, crazy. We're getting there.
I went too easy. I was going super hard. I think now that I've found the right middle ground.
Okay.
I hope. And
I'll do you one. I'll tell you it's a really good clue. Regardless, I got you.
Nice.
Skill issue.
So my guess the game is a massive gorge expands to a valley in the land of Joseph Smith.
Okay, so massive. I'm thinking like Grand Canyon. I just want to say like UT Rio Grande Valley, but isn't Joseph Smith? Didn't he find that? Is that in Utah? But then with UT Rio Grande Valley, I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna roll with it and say Grand Canyon at UTRGV.
You got Grand Canyon.
I know it's because I don't wait. Hang on. What's in? It has to be in Utah, right? Isn't that where they were found?
Correct.
Okay, Joseph Smith in Utah. Utah State.
Valley. Think about Valley.
I know, dude. This is tough. I'm blanking on my valleys. Is it just Utah Valley? Is it just Grand Canyon, Utah Valley?
Say your guess.
State? Utah Valley State.
What's your guess? I need a final answer.
It is Grand Canyon, Utah Valley State.
It is Grand Canyon at Utah Valley.
No. Oh, man, if we were doing halves, this would be perfect. That's a really good clue. I like that one. That one was good, Jaren. There's a skill issue. I couldn't.
You said Joseph Smith. Is that Utah? And then I said, think about Valley. And I was like, I was getting ready to say that before you said, is that Utah? I was like, I just pretty much said
no, I
Utah
knew.
Valley.
The thing is, I just legitimately could not remember. Like, I was like, it has to be Utah Valley, but like, I couldn't remember if that was a school. And I couldn't remember if Utah Valley State was the school. And I don't know. One of those.
Yeah.
This is all these fake states, you know?
True.
Boise State.
Fake as hell.
Never been there.
That game is 8 p.m. on Thursday, January 9th.
So you can do like a back-to-back. Times my game, 9, I think. 7. So you can have them both. You can multi-view that. Probably not, because they're probably both on ESPN Plus.
Yeah. But you can watch one as the other ends.
Yeah, and
it starts at 7. Mine is
7.
8.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the first half.
See if it's close.
Yeah. Then decide. Good hints.
That was a good one. That might have been our best together. Like the two of ours combined might have been our best clues.
Yeah.
Might have been the best one we've had.
We both got one of the schools.
Mm-hmm. This has been a good time for your half points to be a thing. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Next year. Anything else?
Just shout out to just local sports, man. Local basketball, local sports. Put it on social media. If you just have time, like they're usually less than $10.
Yeah.
For NAIA Division III. A lot of that stuff is like $5. High school, go to some sporting event. Like go to a high school game. It's just you're closer to the court. The community's great. Like everyone there cares. You have actual like true road fans.
Yeah.
Usually it's just a ton of fun. And like there's a different type of buy-in. So I encourage you to go find a game near you and support something local, give back to the community, whether it's yours or just somewhere near you. There's something you want to go to. So that's all I want to shout out, because I did that with I didn't get to stay for the men's game. I actually didn't get to see the end of the women's game, but I went to the started the doubleheader for the IWU USF game. That was a top 15 matchup. Elite shooting, just full court pressing, just awesome at USF. So shout out to that.
That is University of St. Francis in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
And Indiana Wesleyan University.
Yeah. IWU is Indiana Wesleyan. I don't know what Illinois Wesleyan calls themselves, but it can't be IWU.
I feel like it also is. Not gonna lie.
It probably is. They're second-rate citizens.
Hey.
No offense.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No offense.
Yeah. Well, the clock is showing quadruple zeros, so it's time for us to get out of here. Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball podcast. We will see you next week. And remember, in 49 states,
it's just basketball.